You're watching the Dakota Drive on KFYR Plus with sports director Luke Gamble. Sponsored by Trusted Tire and Auto. You're watching the Dakota Drive on KFYR Plus with sports director Luke Gamble. Sponsored by Trusted Tire and Auto.
All right, welcome into the Dakota Drive, December 8th, Monday afternoon. We've got a fun show lined up for today, just trying to get everything squared away. We're going to be talking a lot of college hoops today and a little bit of college hockey as well as we talk about, we'll just go ahead and look ahead to who we have scheduled to join us. We're going to start off with college basketball, and the college basketball season pretty much a third of the way done already, I guess, is one way you could look at it. And we've got a lot of good basketball teams around here and a lot of new things happening with college basketball teams around here. And that includes United Tribes, who has a new men's basketball coach for the first time in a long time. Pete Conway stepping down after last season, and it's given Rob McClain the chance to step in and take over at his alma mater, a place that he played basketball 2007, I believe. So it's been a while, and now he's gotten the chance to kind of have a full circle moment and come back around and coach the team that he once played for. So cool opportunity for him. United Tribes, they got a pair of wins over the weekends. We were there on Friday night, and they picked up another win on Saturday at home. So they're kind of trending in the right direction as they get up to speed with these last couple of games at the end of December before they turn the switch and then hit conference games in January. So excited to talk to Rob a little bit about his opportunity and what this has kind of meant to him as he's gotten into, a new phase of life and gotten to take over a new opportunity. Then we're going to keep talking college hoops with the University of Jamestown Jimmies, and when you talk about newness, I mean they are full of newness right now as they jump into the Division II level. Their first chance to play in the NSIC, the Northern Sun Conference, this season as well. So the Jimmy's men's coach, Casey Bruggeman, is going to join us around 2:30 or so. And Jamestown got a big weekend and big win over the weekend in overtime over the University of Mary. So I'm interested to hear his take on that. If you look at their record at first glance, you're not going to be like, wow, Jamestown basketball, but considering where they're at right now as they make this jump to the Division II level, they've been playing some phenomenal basketball. They've played against North Dakota State and North Dakota this year. They got beat in both of those games, but they were competitive in both of those games as well. All of the games that they've played at the Division II level, they've been incredibly competitive in. They've gotten a few wins along the way, and they've played a couple of ranked teams in the Division II level that are ranked in the 20s, but they're ranked teams that they have played very close games against. So excited to talk to Casey about the newness of it all as they have jumped to the NSIC, jumped to the Division II, gotten a chance to play in one of the toughest conferences in the NSIC. The Jimmies played a few NSIC teams in the past last season just to kind of prepare them for what was coming this season and non-counter games. But now they're full throttle all the way ahead with all of that at the Division II level, and they've definitely tested themselves early on with a tough strength of schedule. And then to wrap up the show around the 2:45 mark, we're going to get to Wyatt Waselenchuk, the Minot State hockey men's coach. Waselenchuk. I gotta get his name 100% right before we get him on here. If I keep saying it, eventually I'll get it right. Minot State men's hockey, the number 2 team in the country, and it's not just the fact that they're the number 2 team in the country right now in the ACHA. It's the fact that they are consistently in the top 5, really top 3, if you want to say it, in the country in men's hockey. Their women's hockey program is phenomenal too, but in men's hockey, Wyatt has not only won a national championship as a coach, but he's won one as a player as well. So it's cool to see how that's kind of come full circle for him. But it's also cool to see the sustained success for Minot State hockey and how they've continued to thrive at a high level. And they're getting ready to go on the road and play Jamestown this week, another top 10 team from our area. UMary is in the top 15 right now. So the state of ACHA hockey right now is something that's really interesting to me, and something that I want to talk to Wyatt about as well, just because of how high level the hockey is in North Dakota right now, across 3 or 4 ACHA teams. And so interested to get his perspective on that. Their only loss this year came against UMary in a rivalry game, and they've had a lot of success against UMary in recent history. So then they get a chance to go play Jamestown this week, and that's going to be another kind of rivalry game. So I'm interested to talk to him about just that aspect of being consistently challenged against other North Dakota teams. They've got an exhibition coming up against Lake Region State, another North Dakota team that's trying to get on the map. They play against Dakota College at Bottineau. So all of these teams have programs that have been good at some level in the ACHA in recent history, just in the last 5 years since I've moved to Bismarck. And so it's cool to see that. When I was in college, I did stuff with ACHA hockey, and so then when I moved to North Dakota and saw the level that ACHA hockey was at here, I was kind of gravitated towards it immediately, and I thought it was really cool. And then on that note, we're going to be talking to UMary hockey later in this week. You'll be able to see that on KFYR TV later this week, but excited to get a chance to talk to the Marauders, who have kind of caught their groove here lately and are on a win streak. Another team that it's kind of night in and night out. They're playing against ranked opponents. They went on the road and swept Midland in Nebraska this weekend. So excited to talk to Dan Huntley and his crew about what they've got going there as they turn the page. Last year they had so many new faces. This year they have so many returning faces. So I think it's exciting what the Marauders are doing right now, not too far removed from a national championship themselves. So I think that just speaks to the level of what kind of hockey is being played around here, and what kind of hockey you can play at the ACHA level and be in North Dakota. And so I think that is really cool. But so we're going to talk some hoops and hockey throughout the day here. But before we get to it, obviously we got to talk about the weekend a little bit, and we'll just do a quick hitter talking about college football. Not the finish that North Dakota State envisioned. I don't think that there was ever going to, I think if you polled 25 people in North Dakota, I'm pretty sure 25 people would have answered North Dakota State was not going to get beat this past weekend. Illinois State just came and they didn't even play their A game. I don't think. I don't think Illinois State played their best football, but they still found a way to win. I mean, they threw 5 interceptions. North Dakota State caught 5 interceptions, and it still wasn't enough. North Dakota State caught 5 interceptions. One of those was a pick 6, and they had a special teams touchdown. And the offense just wasn't able to do anything. And so, goes out as the only loss in their season at the most important time, which is obviously unfortunate if you're a Bison fan. And, there's so many of those seniors on that team that you're going to lose now that that was their last chance. And I just don't think that anyone would have expected this. I think, most people, if you would have asked them, would have said that, they expected NDSU to be in the conversation in Nashville, and that's certainly what I expected. But, that ends the season. At the same time, UND ends their season on the road at Tarleton State in Texas. And then immediately their top running back hits the transfer portal just yesterday. So not the weekends that we envisioned, certainly, when it came to the FCS playoffs. But we'll circle back around to that as we get set to talk college hoops here with Rob McClain in just a second. We're going to try to get Rob in here, and we'll circle back to some NDSU football and UND football here in just a few minutes. There he is. Okay. All right, so flipping the switch back to college basketball, Rob McClain with us. I mean, first off, congratulations on a good weekend. I'm sure it felt good to get a couple of wins under your belt here at home. I mean, tell me a little bit about the weekend, and did it kind of go the way you envisioned it?
Yeah, it was a good weekend for us. I think it went exactly how I thought it would go. My guys have been, had a long break from Thanksgiving to playing 4 games in 1 week, so trying to be prepared for all 4 games was a bit of a task. But my guys stepped up and proved that they deserve to be playing at the college level, and just trying to learn more and more about the game and trying to teach the game to them as well throughout this week on such a jam-packed week full of games for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys have rattled off 4 in a row now. I mean, you kind of seems like you're hitting your groove. I mean, do you feel like you guys are in a good spot in terms of playing really good basketball right now, or what's kind of helped you get to this point across the stretch of the last 4 games?
I think we've been doing a decent job, just trying to figure out, you know, what's our identity before conference season starts, and we're just a month away from that, and just trying to build off of something positive before we take this long break. I think I want to say we're on like a 3 week break after this for my guys, and so trying to end the first semester on a high note and just see what we got for next semester, how rotation should look, how our defense should be looking, what do we need to rely more on that end of the floor, and offense. Offense is going to come. I'm not too worried about my guys for on the offensive side of things, but trying to get them to lock in and take it a day at a time, basically.
Yeah, well, the offense seemed to be clicking this week. I mean, a couple of 100-point games in the last two, so I'm sure that was nice to see the offense come around in that way. As you approach, getting to this point where you have such a long layoff. I mean, I know this is kind of your first time going through it as a coach, but how do you build the bridge over a 3 week process of like, hey, this is what we're going to do for 3 weeks. We're not going to sit around and just do nothing. I mean, how do you kind of handle that with so much downtime?
For myself, anyways, I just kind of use what I used when I was playing here in 2017 to 2019, and just trying to give them the blueprint. Now it's up to them to follow through with what I need them to do on a daily basis, Monday through Friday. I'm not asking them to go out there and, be in the gym for 5, 6 hours a day, but I need them to get in the gym and, do quality work versus, just putting up a bunch of shots. Anybody can do that, but are you getting quality work when you're in the gym? So, I'm building out a workout program, not just for the weight room and running and stuff, but for on the court stuff that they need to do while they're away on break. So, trying to build that off and so they can come back and be ready to play once we're done with our break.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about how you got here. I mean, you're in a familiar spot. You played at United Tribes. You mentioned that, but tell me what the conversation was like when you found out that Pete was stepping down. I mean, was this kind of a hey no brainer, or what was your thought process whenever you found out that there was going to be a position open here?
Oh, for me, it was nerve-wracking. I didn't know he was going to be leaving. Initially, I didn't find out until about a week or so after they posted the job listing, and I only got that because my one of my friends who lives out here sent it to me and like, did you know about this? And I didn't take it seriously. I was like, oh, that's probably like AI or something, like that can't be real. Like I'd never suspected that man would leave, and me and Coach Pete, we pretty much talk every day. So like, I just gave him a text and was like, "Hey, is this real?" He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be going. I think it's my time to step away and let someone else take charge." And it wasn't even me like, "Hey, should I apply for the job?" kind of thing. We were just basically we were on the phone for about an hour and a half, just talking about life and stuff like that, seeing what his next plans were, what my plans were. And he just asked a question of like, how I like my job back home, because that's where I was before I took this position, of like, do you see yourself, staying there, or would you, consider, taking this position? And I was just like, I don't know about that. That seems kind of scary, kind of nerve wracking. I'm just getting my foot in the door and stuff like that. And, we just started talking some more, and he's like, I think you should apply for this position. I think you would be a great fit. I think, you know the ins and outs of the game of basketball, and you know the ins and outs of native country. So, you should give it a chance and, see what happens. And, I was hesitant at first. I had to talk to my family about it of like, if I take this job, it's gonna be like full go. Like it's always something I wanted to do, but never right away. I never thought like, oh, I'm gonna get this position right then and there, and everything's gonna be smooth sailing. Like I was trying to build my way up, trying to build out my resume to one day become a college coach. But there's no better time than the present, so may as well learn as I grow. And I still be in constant contact with Coach Pete. He probably gets annoyed with how much I call and text him, trying to get more answers from him. But just trying to feel all that out. And it was probably one of the biggest decisions I've ever made. And I'm glad I made the decision. And talk to my family and Coach Pete about it to see I get back out here.
Yeah. What's it mean to be at a place where you spend a lot of time, playing basketball yourself? I mean, being in that gym and knowing how much pride people take in United Tribes basketball. I mean, what's that mean to you to now be on the other side of it and be kind of leading the way for the program?
I think it's just a full circle moment, right? Because when I first got here, um, United Tribes wasn't really like a destination kids wanted to go to. I knew I didn't. I wasn't trying to come to United Tribes, but things change and things happen for a reason. And it was a good thing I stayed in contact with Coach Pete through my younger years. And when the school I was supposed to go to fell through, I was able to reach out to Coach Pete and just be like, "Hey, I need a place to go. I need something to do. I don't want to be stuck on my reservation, just doing nothing." And so using that as a springboard into helping being the new blueprint of what United Tribes is of getting top native talent from not just North Dakota, South Dakota, but from all over the country. We got kids coming from California, kids coming from Washington, Arizona, Minnesota, like all over the country to come and play for the school now. And it's great to hear and great to know. And we're getting real top native talent from all over the country as well. And to be a part of that history and a part of that groundwork and to see where they're at today is phenomenal to me. And I love every single moment of it. Being able to where Coach Pete's office used to be a tucked away corner upstairs. It basically looked like a broom closet to now I took over his new office, which is massive. We got a brand new team area and stuff like that. We're getting things updated and getting new buildings put in place for our programs and to build off of that. So, just to see where the sports program was when I first got here to what it is now is a dream come true. And I just hope I can continue what Pete had left and what the other coaches and athletic directors have left, and continue to build on that and leave it in a better place than what I got it, which was already a pretty great spot to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, on one hand, it seems like not that long ago, I'm sure that you were playing there. I mean, but then it's like, oh wow, that was 8 years ago, right? But
Yeah.
in that time, I know you went on to play some more basketball, and then as you've gotten into the coaching side of it, I mean, what did you or I guess what have you taken away from your prior experience that you've brought back to United Tribes that you've tried to kind of build on or bring to United Tribes that maybe hasn't been happening in the past?
I think just once I left here, it was trying to learn how to play the game of basketball at that higher level. As much as we love res ball and we love to get up and down, there's ways to still play res ball, but also understanding the fundamentals of the game and knowing how to play defense fundamentally and how to play offense fundamentally as well. There's just little small things here and there that if we can improve on early in our college careers, there's so many native talent that could go on and play at a Division 2, Division 1. And like I tell my guys all the time, at the end of the day, whether I win or lose as a coach, whether I'm above 500 or below 500, it's not going to matter to me as long as I can send most of you guys off to a 4-year school on an athletic scholarship and that you guys finish here with a 2-year degree. Just trying to, pave new pathways for the next generation of native talent and native entrepreneurs, and, trying to build them up and give them that platform that they need to be seen. Because like I tell them, like, even though I'm not that much older than them, but trying to let them see, like, they're in charge of their own futures. They don't have to, be discouraged of what's happening on the outside world. If you put your head down and just work all the way through it, you'll do great things in life. And so that's the biggest thing for me, whether we win or lose these games. As much as I'm a very competitive person, I want them to get the experience and the opportunity to showcase their talent and skills, not just for the junior college level, but to be noticed at the 4-year level as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, on the flip side of that, obviously you have your hands full with the athletic director title and being the men's coach. But what's been the biggest challenge from a basketball standpoint, or maybe the most unexpected thing that you didn't know that you would have to deal with, or anything like that? What's been kind of the challenge for you as you've gotten into something so new?
Oh, I think, as much as I am not that much older than the guys, it is like that differing style of coaching. Because when I was brought up being coach, it was still kind of, hard-headedness. You have to, endure a lot of criticism and yelling, versus nowadays players are adapting more to being talked to rather than yelled at. So being able to, take that style of coaching and, bringing it forth to the newer generation of athletes, I think that's one of the biggest hurdles for me, because there's times where I want to be the more past version of how coaching was, but also knowing, like, if I do it this way, they're probably not going to understand and they're probably going to shut down. So I have to be the newer generation of, all right, just settle down, relax yourself. At the end of the day, this is a game, but I need you to focus on these aspects when you're in this game, right? You have to be able to think and play at the same time, right? And once you're able to do that and everything starts going hand in hand, there's no telling how good you can be. But right now, we have to be able to teach you how to get to that point and not just let you run out there with your head cut off.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Um, well, you mentioned obviously you've got this long layoff, and then you get into conference play finally, which I know probably seems like it's been an eternity waiting on it, but I'm sure it's been good practice, essentially to play against these other teams. But as you get ready for what's to come with conference play, I mean, what are your expectations of that? I mean, have you already been since you've been away for a while? I mean, have you been looking at the Miles film and teams like that, or like how do you prepare for that with it being something that's maybe a little bit more unknown to you that you haven't seen in a while?
Um, the bright side is, like, majority of the coaching staff that was here when I was here are still in place, and they still teach somewhat of the same stuff going on. So it's not too much on my end for developing a game plan to say these are the plays they run, these are sets, these are the defensive things. But, being able to teach these kids on how to defend it and how to run plays against it is gonna be the biggest thing, especially for this long break that I have. So most of my time that I do have over this break will probably be to watching the film on our upcoming conference games, and just trying to, build a layout of what we need to do to get to the point that we need to get to, so we can, be one of the top teams in our conference. And I have faith in my guys and my coaching staff to, be able to put out a competitive winning program and team this season, and, just using this long break to recuperate from our very game heavy November, and try to, get things rolling for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm excited to see what's to come, man. Excited for you guys to hit the conference slate full running and see what that looks like. But I appreciate you taking some time and coming on to chat with us, and hopefully we'll be out there to see some more Thunderbirds wins pretty soon here.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me. Appreciate you guys for coming out. Hopefully everything works out for us and we can continue on with this great journey we're on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Have a good day. We appreciate it. Thanks so much.
No problem. You too.
All right, so that's Rob McClain Jr., excuse me, the United Tribes men's basketball head coach. United Tribes off and running, and yeah, I mean, triple-digit games in both of their last two games over the course of the weekend. One of those was against Turtle Mountain on Friday, and so they've been playing all these different games against non-conference teams to kind of prepare for what's to come. And I think it's going to be interesting to see, how they match up once they get into conference play. And conference play is going to look different this year. Now you don't have that, the old BSC rivalry, which was, that was automatic 2 games in town that you got to see every year between 2 teams that we know so much about. And so now you're going to be playing against a lot of teams that you maybe don't know as much about. So I'm excited and interested to see how that goes for United Tribes and what they have coming up here in the near future. And then for Bismarck State College, just because I just mentioned them, they have gotten off to a slow start, but it's been that adjustment to the NAIA level, right? They took a pair of losses this weekend on the road, and looking to bounce back from that. But then in the Division II level, we've been talking about UMary a ton. Minot State has played pretty well. On the men's side, the Minot State's played well. They fell to UMary, and then UMary goes on the road this weekend to Jamestown and loses against Jamestown. And so I reached out to Jamestown's head coach, Casey Bruggeman, today, and it was kind of last minute. But I saw something really cool that I wanted to talk to him about from this past weekend. And so we're going to get Casey in here pretty soon and talk about what that was. I don't want to give it away just yet, but this is their transition year to the Division II level and the NSIC. So it's been cool to see how Jamestown has competed. And like I said earlier, they've competed at a really high level early on, which has been impressive to see. Oh, I didn't hit the admit button. That would help. All right, so we're gonna bring in Casey. Sorry, I was trying to get set up here. How's it going, man? I mean, you got to be feeling pretty good after a thriller this weekend. I think that's probably the easiest way to put your win over UMary, a thriller. I don't know any other way to describe it.
Yeah, Luke, thanks for having me on. I think I might still be a little bit tired. I can't even imagine our guys in the UMary players. That was a heck of a game that we had on Saturday. Double overtime, big swings in both halves. So that's NSIC basketball. It's really fun.
And you're learning really quickly, right? Learning on the fly with NSIC basketball. I know you guys played a couple of NSIC opponents last year, but just talk to me a little bit about what that transition has been like this year as you guys have taken the next step. And then I know you're kind of still easing into NSIC play, but as you've taken that next step to the Division II level, what's that been like for your squad this year, and how have you seen them handle it?
Yeah, Luke, we did get the opportunity to play a few NSIC teams last year, but it's a whole different beast when you're playing that type of schedule night in and night out. And our whole athletic department has really enjoyed the challenge. We haven't necessarily seen it show up on the win-loss record for our team and our athletic departments, but I think we're competing very well. There's a fighting spirit here, and we kind of like being the underdog, and that's what we're probably going to be every night. So our guys and our athletes have bought into that, and we're just going to work as hard as we can to try to be the best team we can be and try to put a product on the floor that our fans are proud of. And I know I've received a lot of compliments about our team and how hard they play, and that's always the biggest thing for me. We want to play hard, want to be great people off the court and represent our university well.
Well, I know you said it hasn't shown up in the win column, but just looking at your schedule, you're 3-6 on the year, which when people look at it, they'd be like, oh, they're 3-6. But I mean, you've played against the University of North Dakota, you've played against North Dakota State. You take those 2 games away, and every Division II game you've lost by less than 7 points, I think. So, I mean, how proud of you about the fact that you guys have been as competitive as you have been so early on? I mean, I know there's got to be some frustration with losing, but at the same time, you have to be happy with the fight that you guys have put up in all of these games, I would guess.
Absolutely. And I really didn't know what to expect heading into this season with 11 new players and guys in different roles. So for our guys to take on the challenge, even from opening weekend when we went down to Southern Nazarene, played a top 25 team that was picked to win that conference. And when you play them on the road, you have a tie game under 30 seconds. And it's like, okay, I think we can compete. And then from there, we played a lot of really good teams and we played them tight. And we just haven't been able to convert down the stretch. And a lot of those games prior to Saturday. And then Saturday, we finally broke through. It took us all of 45 plus minutes to get to that point. And some good breaks our way too. And I think that's probably going to be how it is every night in the NSIC, especially against a team like Mary as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when it comes to the transition and going into a full season of playing, you're coming off a year in the NAIA where you were right there, a few minutes away from a conference championship there. You guys played Dickinson State super competitively in the conference title game last year, and then it's just such a drastic change, it seems like, to make that jump to the Division II level. For you as a coach, I guess, what's been the biggest hurdle or the biggest difference in what you're doing day in and day out from last year to this year?
Yeah, and NAIA basketball is tremendous. Some great teams up and down our conference last year in the North Star. Of course, Dickinson State kind of had our number last year, and Coach Selvig's crew had a great year and represented our conference well all season long. And there's good teams at every level. I would say the one thing we've experienced as a challenge at the Division II level is just a little bit more size. And we're still working hard to develop that with our roster. But the size and physicality night in and night out, it's pretty high level in the NSIC in particular, and I think that's probably the best Division II conference in the country. Probably biased there, but you're going to face a level of size and physicality that we necessarily didn't face every game last year. We faced some really good teams and really good players, but that physicality is something that a lot of programs that have developed guys for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and they got some strong dudes. So we're adjusting to that. We've rebounded better here the last couple weeks, especially down the stretch in games. And we're learning to convert amongst some trees when you get into the paint, being able to finish plays at the rim, get to the free throw line, which was a little bit of a struggle for us early. So we just enjoy whatever challenge is in front of us. Last year was awesome playing in the North Star, and this year we're having a ton of fun playing in the NSIC.
Absolutely. Whenever you talk about that, the size, I mean, obviously there's a factor of that of in the weight room, but there's also a factor of that of just height that you can't just develop overnight, right? But when it comes to making this move to the Division II level, what kind of doors has it opened in terms of the opportunities for recruitment and being able to recruit a different type of player or different styles of players? Has there been a change there? Have you seen a change there in terms of the types of kids that you can communicate with and get interested in your school because you're at the Division II level now?
I would say we're always going to try to recruit the best player possible. So when we're in NAI school, even the coaches prior to me getting here, they were recruiting at a really high level. So we wanted to continue that here at UJ. I think being in the NSIC and NCAA Division II, it's a very strong brand. So you maybe have some access to some areas that you might not have had before, especially if you go into a state like Minnesota, which has 9 NSIC schools in it, or even recruiting in our home state with Mary Minot and Moorhead being a neighboring city there on the border, and then Northern being very close, just being a little bit more in the same conversation as those schools. It does help you, but at the end of the day, we have a lot of really good things here from a facility standpoint, from support standpoint, from our community. In our administration is fantastic. So they've set us up for success here long term, and we're just going to keep working at it every day.
Yeah. As you look ahead to the full stretch of NSIC games, how I know we mentioned the fact that you played some NSIC teams last year, but how do you prepare for a season where you're playing so many new teams that you haven't seen or haven't played against? Has that been a long over the course of a year or so watching tape, or is it just hey, we're watching tape, this year as we build up to that, or how do you get used to so many new opponents in such a short amount of time?
There's certainly some challenges with that. I was fortunate enough to coach in the NSIC as an assistant for 6 years. Took a 2-year hiatus down in the Summit League at University of South Dakota, but still kept in touch with the league. So you kind of get a chance to know the different coaches that have been there for a few years, and there have been a lot of long-standing head coaches in the NSIC. And I think it's been a little bit of an adjustment for our guys, just getting to know, hey, this is what we can expect out of a Minot State every time we play them. This is what we can expect from a University of Mary. Our hope is that we can play a style of basketball that we're just geared up and ready to compete, whoever the opponent is, and regardless of how they play. But it does help when there's some familiarity with opponents, and we're learning fast. And we've took some hard lessons with close losses. Minot State punched us in the mouth a little bit in the first half last Thursday. We responded well to that. So we're just going to keep swinging and keep getting better every week.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you about this past weekend. I saw it going around on social media, but the barefoot coaching. Can you walk us through what that is, what the story is behind it? Because I know there's a bigger purpose to it. But from my understanding, you guys coach the entire University of Mary the game against the University of Mary barefooted on the sidelines. Is that right? And kind of tell me the reasoning behind that.
Correct. So we were able to partner with the Samaritan's Feet organization to bring the Barefoot Classic back to Jamestown. And this is something that I've been able to be a part of in the past at the University of Mary when I was an assistant coach for Joe Cattell. So we coached the whole game barefoot, and this was to raise awareness for the Samaritan's Feet organization's mission. And their vision is to have 0 shoeless children in the entire world. And we start here in North Dakota to try and raise donations and for gently worn or new shoes that people were able to bring to the game. Had over 100 pairs of shoes donated, in addition to financial donations as well. So it all goes towards the Samaritan's Feet organization. That's Tracy and Manny Ahome. Manny played at Lake Region State and the University of North Dakota. So he has North Dakota has a special place in his heart. We're trying to be a leader here in our region to help Samaritan's Feet accomplish their vision of having 0 shoeless children. So I know for me, just even being barefoot indoors, you definitely notice it. So can you imagine being outside in some of the weather we're having right now and not having proper footwear? So just an incredible organization and incredible leadership from Tracy and Manny Ahome. And we're very thankful to be able to partner with them for this initiative. And we hope this is just the start.
I know you mentioned that you did this when you were at UMary as an assistant. How did this kind of get rekindled? Is this something where they reached out to you, or you just remembered it and went back to it, or how did this idea get sparked for this past weekend?
So actually, Tracy and Manny Ahome came and spoke at our Leadertown conference at the University of Jamestown. So that was late September. Just a tremendous event with some world-class speakers there, including the Ahomes. And I connected with Manny afterwards, like, hey, I've been a part of the barefoot game before. We have to bring this back to UJ. And if you haven't met him, just Google him. He is one of the most energetic, enthusiastic, special people I've ever had the chance to hear speak and then now meet. So he was all in on helping UJ bring the Barefoot Classic back to Jamestown here and have us coach barefoot. And more importantly, raise those donations both financially and with the shoe drive in order to help our kids in our region.
Yeah. You mentioned it's obviously it felt a little weird for you. What you're pacing up and down the sidelines. I mean, is there any moment that you look down and you're like, yeah, I don't have shoes on. I completely forgot the fact that I wasn't wearing shoes, by the time you get to the second half of a game. Is there any kind of moment like that?
Well, I joke with Darren Tighe before the game that it's 2 less things I have to remember: my socks and my shoes. So we just kind of get into it and you roll. And I'm somewhat active on the sideline. Our fans could probably tell you that. So it was a little bit unique, and we were on our feet for 10 extra minutes with the 2 overtimes. So that was great. It was all part of it, and we talked to our guys about how we want our program to always remember there's greater things out there than the game of basketball. We're blessed to be able to play it, but to use our platform to do something good to help out. Our guys are great at serving in our community, and it was just a special thing for our coaching staff and program to be able to do this past Saturday.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So cool to see you guys embracing something like that outside of basketball. That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you jumping on, especially so last minute. I was just saying before you joined that I reached out to you just this morning, and so I'm glad you were able to be able to jump on here because I was excited to talk about that and get a little background behind that, and just excited to talk about Jamestown and kind of where you guys are going. So I appreciate you so much, man.
Yeah, it was great reconnecting, Luke. Hope all is well.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk soon. All right, Casey Bruggeman, the head coach of the Jamestown Jimmy's men's basketball program. Like we mentioned, they're making that jump to the Division II level, which is something completely new for all of their sports. And obviously, they have always been competitors at the basketball. They've always been competitors in basketball and volleyball as well. Their women's volleyball program is phenomenal. Their men's volleyball program is good. But to see them make this jump and now consistently be playing against other North Dakota teams, Minot State and UMary, and then playing against Moorhead just across the border, it's cool to see just kind of how they've gone about that. And I think long-term, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes for them just in terms of success factor. And like we were talking about, what kind of players you can bring in, what kind of athletes you can bring in. That in turn turns into what kind of students you can bring in and how you can continue to grow your university. So I think that's a really cool thing. Casey and I connected for the first time last year whenever they were playing against Dickinson State in that North Star Conference Championship. And so talk about a guy with good energy. He was talking about other people with good energy, but talk about a guy that's high energy and likes to get up and down the court. He definitely likes to do that. The Jimmies lost in that game at Dickinson last year in the conference title game, but that was one of the coolest college basketball atmospheres I had ever been to, being in such a smaller venue like that, but it was packed to the brim with fans from Jamestown and from Dickinson State, so that was phenomenal to be a part of, and now they're trying to get that success to translate to the Division II level, and so we'll see how long it takes for the wins to come along to get to that point. Because like Casey said, the wins haven't been there, but they've done a lot of things that put themselves in positions to be successful. They're 3-6 on the season, like I mentioned. 2 of those losses, you take them away against North Dakota and North Dakota State, and they're 3-4 on the season. Those 4 losses have been by 7 points or less against Division II opponents. 2 of those opponents are ranked in the top 25. So the caliber of opponent that they've played early in this season has been really good, and I'm interested to see how that pays off when it gets to January, February, and you're playing against the NSIC teams night in and night out and every weekend. I'm interested to see how that pays off in the long run, and certainly coaches will always tell you that the caliber of opponent that you're playing is just going to make you even better, right? So how good does that make them for later in this year, as well as how good does that make them in the long term looking ahead? So lots of exciting things to look forward to for Jimmy's basketball. And then the women's program as well. They got a win over the University of Mary. Trying to look up the women's score. I forgot what the score was, but they got a win over the University of Mary over the course of the weekend as well. And that's a big win for their program. They're now 1 game above 500. 60-58. So it was another Jamestown fans were treated to a couple of good games over the course of the weekends. UMary was without Bergen Kennebrew, their top scorer and one of the best players in the conference. Emily Yankee stepped in and scored 17 points in her absence. And they had 4 or 5 starters. UMary had 4 or 5 starters in double digits. But that just wasn't enough. Jamestown had 3 players in double digits and had several girls on the bench contribute as well. And so that's a big win for Jamestown as they moved to 1 game over 500. And then the University of Mary women's program, we've been talking about them a ton, both on here and on the air. They're now 8-3 on the season after that loss to Jamestown. They're going to be back home this week against Crookston on Thursday, and then Minnesota State Moorhead on Saturday. So a good chance to see that team play a couple of times this week right here in Bismarck. So if you get a chance to get out to the MAC, they're definitely a good team that's worth going out and watching. The men's team as well. I mean, what Darren Ty has done as he's trying to get, that program trending in the right direction at the University of Mary. I think that they're certainly making strides as well. I mean, you saw them beat a good Minot State team here in Bismarck at home. That was a big win for them. And it's going to be interesting to see how that continues to trend throughout the course of the season. And of course, they've got a couple of homegrown guys on that roster. Andre Austin's been contributing as a true freshman early on in the season, which has been cool to see, him put his stamp on things coming off the bench for UMary. I think he went 0 for 3 on Saturday, so he wasn't a big factor on Saturday in that game, but he has certainly been doing a lot here early on in the season for the University of Mary. So that'll kind of wrap up the college hoop stuff as we get set to transition here. Hopefully in the next few minutes we'll catch up and talk a little college hockey with Minot State Hockey's men's coach, the number 2 ranked team in the country in the ACHA. We'll just loop around to college football once again here as we kind of jumped into talking to Rob earlier and got away from college football. But North Dakota State losing on the road, and then UND lost on the road as well. And so now they're starting running back Sawyer Seidel goes into the transfer portal, and now they're, Gavin Zybarth is probably going to be the guy, that they have to look forward to and see who else they can bring in. Colton Brunell, certainly, I mean, he's a young star. I covered him in Wisconsin, so I know him a little bit more than I do some other players, and so it's cool to see a guy like him getting an opportunity. I think now with Sawyer entering the transfer portal, it opens up a big window of opportunity for Colton to contribute even more next year. But we're going to flip the switch and talk a little bit of college hockey as we bring Wyatt in here. ACHA hockey in full swing. I mean, they get going in September, so things are, they're already 2 months into the season, and things just kind of keep rolling from here. But Wyatt, how's it going, man? You guys are, in the thick of things is safe to say, but how are you feeling about where you guys are at right now in the season?
Hey, Luke, good to chat with you first and foremost. Yeah, obviously we had a pretty eventful weekend going to Liberty there, and a couple long flights and travel days, and then a quick turnaround for Jamestown here on Wednesday. But you know what? I think this is when you want your team to be clicking, when you're in the thick of it, like I said, and with our schedule this season, not playing anybody essentially outside the top 25. It's been a grind for sure, but a little bit of a slow start maybe, and some things that we need to clean up. But I think the guys are moving in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, just kind of the level of hockey. And when you look at you guys' schedule and other teams around here, that's kind of what it is every team you play has a number next to their name, right? I know Liberty is always a good program. What did you take away from this weekend and having to go on a long road trip like that, but still coming away with some wins?
Well, I think first and foremost, obviously, that midnight game throws a wrinkle into everything, right? The bus leaves at 9:15 at night, and guys are having their pregame meal at 8 p.m. And then obviously playing in front of 4,500 people is you never know how you're going to respond, right? Like we get some pretty darn good crowds, and Mary there obviously does a great job, and we play in some pretty hostile environments, but nothing like that, and you never know, right? If the nerves will take over and guys are making mental mistakes, but I mean, from puck drop, we were pretty dialed in, and getting that 1, 2, 3 goal lead early on, I think helped us settle in, obviously, and our goaltender Will Dyke was rock solid all weekend and made some big saves for us, and it was great. You know what? Like I said, as much as you prepare, there's nothing that can really prepare you for that kind of atmosphere, and obviously our guys responded pretty darn well to it.
What time did you lay down in your hotel room after that? What time was it?
I didn't sleep. We got back to the hotel at about 3:45. The last restaurant, the latest that we could have pizza delivered to the hotel was at 1 a.m. So it sat for 2 hours plus. And so the boys ate some microwave pizza and got up for 11 o'clock video. And while they got that, 6 or 7 hours of sleep there, I was, myself and Tyler were doing some videos. So we kind of went 48 hours without much sleep. We had an early flight the next day as well. So it was a quick turnaround, but that's all right. It's all about the guys and making sure they're as prepared as they possibly can be.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you mentioned going into play in Jamestown this week. Just they're another top 10 team in the country. First off, let's talk about, before we get to Jamestown specifically, I mean, whenever you look at North Dakota and Jamestown being a top 10 team, Mary being a top 10, 15 team, you guys being a top 5 team, I mean, what does it say about where college hockey is at right now in our state, and just what people were able to experience every weekend with how high of level the play is here?
Yeah, it's everything to have those teams here, and Dan and Dean have done a tremendous job, and for us to have two teams like that within 3 hours is incredible. It never was the case when I was a player. So for us now to have those teams that we can rely on for 10 or 12 games a year with as highly as they're ranked, and that contributing to our strength of schedule is everything. And aside from their ranking, or which is something that we don't really pay much attention to whatsoever, they're two darn good teams. They make it hard on you every single night, for different reasons, and it's tremendous having those two teams here in our backyard. And I attribute a lot of our success over the years here, over the last 5 years, to having to battle against those guys night in and night out, like I said, 5, 6, 8 times a year. And it's tremendous for the league. And I think, just again, kind of back to your point about the growth of our level. I mean, there's only so many NCAA Division I hockey programs, right? And I think we're closing that gap at the college hockey level. I mean, every guy on our roster is a tier 2 junior hockey player, and it's a very viable option for kids outside of junior hockey, and are now looking to places in the ACHA, because I just think the growth has gotten so much better and there's so much exposure on it. And those two programs that you mentioned in North Dakota here are doing a great job of spreading the good word and getting more great players involved at our level.
How do you, I know you still get days off, right? It's not like you're playing back to back, but as you come off a long road trip and then you turn around and go on the road to Jamestown on a Wednesday, how do you prepare for that, especially when you're talking about facing a really good team and, having another ranked team that you're playing against?
Well, I think rest is important, obviously. Like, there will be a handful of guys on the ice here today. We skated 3 o'clock, but made it optional for the guys. I think it's just mentally more important for them to get their rest and take care of their bodies, see our athletic trainers and things like that. So we'll hit it hard tomorrow and have a good skate and prepare for them as we always do, which is our video, which is huge for us as a program. Trying to understand what an opponent's going to throw at us system wise and be prepared for that. And then at the end of the day, it's a mental battle where we need our guys to be mentally engaged, right? Like a Wednesday night at Jamestown is probably going to look a little bit different from a Friday or Saturday game at Liberty, right? So not having necessarily as big a crowd to kind of feed off energy wise. How are we going to respond? And I think that's been our message for the guys is we're playing a heck of a darn good team and in a little bit different atmosphere, and we got to find a way to be energized and be ready to go.
Yeah, well, when you talk about the program as a whole, I mean, you guys have sustained success for a while here. You got to experience it as a player and now as a coach. But what's been the key for you guys in sustaining that success over several years now?
Just the people. I mean, flat out the people involved from our president, Dr. Stephen Shirley, our athletic director, Kevin Harmon. I can't speak enough about them and our administrative staff in terms of their support. It's a varsity program at the ACHA level through and through. I mean, these guys get treated like Division I athletes, but in the same breath, they earn that stuff. Like my captains, are everything to us. We're a player-led team. From the workouts with our strength coaches to our team meetings and things like that. I mean, all that stuff is set forth through our captains. I don't do as much as you would maybe think. Like we are, I give those guys a lot of leash in terms of how they feel that things should be run. And they buy in. I mean, I feel like at this level, you're only as strong as your leadership group. I've said that from the moment I stepped foot here on campus, that whether I was a player, now that I'm a coach, you're only going to go as far as your leadership group takes you. And we have 4 tremendous captains and a very veteran-laden team that have been through it before, and they understand the standard. There are, a dozen things that we set forth as a staff early on that are non-negotiables. But outside of that, a lot of it is, like I said, led by our players, and they all buy in. And then again, like just team culture and there's nobody on our team that hasn't played with one another at some point in their junior hockey career. I've said it for a long, long time. Like my recruiting budget is $0. I don't go on recruiting trips. It's this time of year that a good friend or a teammate will reach out to one of my guys and he'll pass that on to me. And obviously then we do our due diligence in terms of video and connecting with the player and former coaches and things like that. But we're a player-led program through and through. And I truly feel like that's why we've been pretty darn successful, is when everyone feels like they have a hand in the success. That's when you take responsibility and do things the right way.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you joining us, man. I for a few minutes here just to talk about the state of your program and where it's at, because it's obviously continuing to climb. I don't know if there is much more room to continue to climb, but it's exciting to watch and see how you guys have continued to build on it and how it's made the state better as a whole when it comes to hockey. So I appreciate you joining us, man. Best of luck on Wednesday against Jamestown. That should be a fun one.
Yeah, for sure. It's always a battle. Dean's a great coach, and they never make it easy on us, that's for sure. So I appreciate you, Luke, and thanks for having me today, and you have a great holiday season upcoming here.
Absolutely, man. You too. All right, Minot State men's hockey getting set to take on Jamestown later this week. ACHA hockey. If you haven't seen any college hockey around here, ACHA hockey, I encourage you to get out and watch it. I know everybody likes to go watch UND and everything, and I do too, but man, the stuff that these guys do and the level that they play at is really good, and like I said, it's making everybody across the rest of the state even better, and it's making the sport continue to grow. But that'll about wrap it up for our show here on this Monday afternoon. We appreciate you joining us. We had a fun show today. I really enjoyed the conversations with those guys, talking a little college hoops and hockey. We'll be right back here again next Monday, same time, same place, 2 to 3 p.m. Central, right here on KFYR Plus for the Dakota Drive. So we will see you then. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day. Stay bundled up tomorrow. Stay tuned to KFYR for those weather updates for sure tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of your week. Have a good one.